Culture shock. Why American values don't always mix in Japan. All right, let's talk about Japan. Land of bullet trains, amazing sushi, mind-blowing technology, ancient temples, polite people, and that incredible sense of order. It's a place that fascinates many Americans. We see the surface, the cool gadgets, the vibrant pop culture, the serene gardens, and we think, wow, I want to experience that. Maybe you dream of working for a cutting-edge Japanese company, teaching English, or just soaking in a culture that seems so different, so refined. But here's the raw truth, the part that doesn't always make it into the travel brochures or the highlight reels. For an American, moving to Japan can feel like stepping onto another planet. Not because of the language barrier alone, but because the fundamental ways people think, interact, and operate in society are often the polar opposite of what we consider normal back in the States. Beneath that smooth, polite surface lies a complex web of unspoken rules, deep-seated traditions, and social expectations that can be incredibly confusing and stressful for Americans.
It's a place where our go-to American values, our love for independence, speaking our minds directly, challenging the status quo, our casual approach to hierarchy, don't just feel out of place. They can actively clash with the very core of Japanese society. This isn't just a minor difference in etiquette. It's a fundamental culture shock, a deep-seated mismatch that reveals why American values often just don't mix easily in Japan without a massive amount of effort, understanding, and personal adjustment from the American side. Think about the basic American programming we grow up with. We're taught to be individuals, to chase our own dreams, to value independence. Speak up! Be yourself! The squeaky wheel gets the grease. We generally say what we mean, maybe sugarcoating it sometimes, but directness is often seen as honesty. We might respect our bosses, but we're generally comfortable calling them by their first name eventually, questioning decisions, and aiming for a relatively flat, informal playing field.
We like getting things done, checking boxes, moving forward efficiently. These aren't good or bad things, they're just part of the American cultural software. Now, take that software and try to run it in Japan. You're going to hit some serious compatibility errors. Let's break down the major clashes, the areas where American values slam headfirst into Japanese norms. Clash number 1. The group comes first. Forget me. Think we. This is probably the biggest one. America is all about the individual. Japan is all about the wa group. The most important concept here is wa, he, which means harmony. Maintaining the harmony of the group, whether it's your family, your school class, your work team, or the nation itself, is the absolute top priority. Everything else comes second. This clashes hard with American individualism, where personal goals and self-expression are often paramount. In Japan, standing out isn't usually a good thing. There's a famous proverb, deru kui wa utareru. The nail that sticks up gets hammered down. While Americans might admire someone who rocks the boat or takes a bold individual stand, in Japan, that person is often seen as selfish, disruptive, and harmful to group harmony. Decision-making reflects this. Forget a boss making a quick call. Major decisions often involve a long, slow process called nemawashi, where everyone is consulted behind the scenes to build consensus before a formal meeting even happens. This ensures everyone feels heard and harmony is maintained, but it can feel incredibly slow and inefficient to an American used to quicker action. You'll see this everywhere. People are reluctant to take personal initiative if it deviates from what the group is doing. There's a strong sense of loyalty and obligation to your group. Personal needs or desires are often put aside for the good of the team or family. There's also a very clear line between your in-group, uchi, nei, and outsiders, soto, wai, which we'll touch on more later. For an American who values freedom and independence above all, constantly having to prioritize the group and suppress individual desires can feel suffocating. Clash number 2. Reading the air versus saying what you mean. Americans value direct communication. We try to say things clearly. Yes means yes, no means no. We might appreciate constructive criticism. In Japan, communication is an art form, and it's incredibly indirect and high context. What isn't said is often more important than what is said. People rely heavily on nonverbal cues, situational context, and a shared understanding, ishin-denshin, yishin-chuanshin, like telepathy, to convey meaning. The most crucial skill is kuki wo yomu, kong chi wo yumu, which literally means reading the air. It's the ability to sense the mood, understand the unspoken dynamics of a situation, and know what behavior is appropriate without needing explicit instructions. Asking too many direct questions, stating strong opinions bluntly, or openly disagreeing can be seen as crude, socially inept, or even aggressive because it forces things into the open and risks disrupting the wa harmony. This leads to endless confusion for Americans. You ask a Japanese colleague if they can help with a project. They might suck air through their teeth, look away, say, "Sore ha chotsuto," "Sore wa choto." That's a little, and maybe give a slight bow. To an American, that sounds like maybe they're busy but could possibly do it. To the Japanese person, that was a very clear, very polite, "No way, absolutely not." Saying no directly is often considered too harsh. Similarly, hearing hi, yes, might just mean, "I hear you and am acknowledging you are speaking." Not necessarily, "I agree with you," or, "Yes, I will do that." Getting a straight answer can feel impossible. To the Japanese, American directness can come across as shockingly blunt, insensitive, and lacking in social grace. Clash number 3. The critical importance of saving face. Related to indirect communication is the vital concept of mentsu, mianzi, face. This is about maintaining dignity, reputation, and social standing, both for yourself and for the group you belong to. Losing face, being embarrassed, criticized publicly, failing, or causing shame is a huge deal in Japan, far more significant than in the US. Protecting your own face, and just as importantly, the face of others, guides countless interactions. This is why direct criticism, even if intended constructively, is often avoided. Pointing out someone's mistake publicly can cause deep embarrassment and damage the relationship, potentially forever. Instead, feedback, if given at all, is usually delivered very gently, indirectly, perhaps through a third party, or hinted at over time. Apologies are frequent, sometimes even when the person isn't directly at fault, as a way to smooth things over and maintain harmony. For Americans, who might be more accustomed to open critique in some settings or believe in owning mistakes publicly, this constant focus on face can seem excessive or even dishonest. We might think, "Just tell me what I did wrong so I can fix it." But in Japan, the potential damage to mentsu and wa often outweighs the perceived benefit of direct confrontation. Trying to handle disagreements or problems the American way, directly and openly, can backfire spectacularly, causing offense and shutting down communication entirely. Clash number 4. Knowing your place. Hierarchy matters. America prides itself on being relatively egalitarian, at least aspirationally. We might respect authority, but we generally move towards using first names, interacting casually across age or status gaps, and feeling comfortable voicing opinions to superiors. Japan, on the other hand, is a deeply hierarchical society. Age, seniority, and social status are incredibly important and dictate how you interact with everyone. This is most obvious in the language itself, which has complex levels of politeness and respectfulness known as keigo, jingyu. You use different verb forms, different vocabulary, even different pronouns depending on whether you're talking to your boss, your junior colleague, kohai, your senior, senpai, a customer, or a close friend. Getting keigo wrong is a major social blunder. Beyond language, hierarchy dictates everything from where people sit in meetings, who walks through the door first, the depth of a bow, how business cards, meishi, are exchanged. It's a ritual, and the deference shown to those higher up.
The senpai-kohai, senior-junior relationship is fundamental in schools, clubs, and companies, involving mentoring but also clear obligations and expectations based on seniority. To an American used to more informal interactions, navigating this complex web of hierarchy can be exhausting. Our natural casualness, like slapping a superior on the back or using their first name without permission, can be perceived as deeply disrespectful. Clash number 5. The infamous work culture. Japanese work culture is legendary, and often not in a good way from an American perspective. While the U.S. has its own issues with workaholism, the Japanese approach is different. It's characterized by long hours. Not always productive hours, but being seen at your desk late into the evening is often expected. Leaving before your boss is frowned upon. Company loyalty. Lifetime employment is less common now, but loyalty to the company is still highly valued. Changing jobs frequently can be viewed negatively. Group over individual. Success is seen as a team effort. Individual contributions are often downplayed in favor of group achievement. Promotions are frequently based on seniority and loyalty rather than just individual merit. After-work obligations. Drinking sessions with colleagues and bosses, nomikai, are often considered quasi-mandatory for team bonding and relationship building, though this is changing somewhat with younger generations. The dark side. The pressure can be immense, leading to serious health problems and even karoshi, guo-lao-si, death from overwork. For an American used to focusing on individual performance, clear metrics, having more control over their work schedule, ideally, and seeking a clearer line between work and personal life, the Japanese system can feel oppressive, inefficient, despite the long hours, and demanding in ways that go far beyond the job description. Clash 6. Inside versus outside. Breaking in is hard. Japanese society makes a strong distinction between uchi, nei, inside, and soto, wai, outside. Uchi refers to your inner circle, family, close friends, maybe your work department. Soto is everyone else. The way you behave, the language you use, the level of trust and intimacy are vastly different depending on whether someone is uchi or soto. Americans tend to have more fluid social boundaries. We might strike up conversations with strangers easily, share personal information relatively quickly, and invite acquaintances into our homes. In Japan, getting past the initial polite, formal soto barrier and being accepted into someone's uchi circle can take a very long time and significant effort. Foreigners, gaijin, wairen, literally outside person, are, by definition, soto. While people are usually incredibly polite, that politeness can sometimes feel like a beautiful, impenetrable wall. It can be lonely and isolating, making deep friendships or true integration challenging. You might live there for years and still feel like an outsider looking in. Living with the shock, frustration, and finding a way. Experiencing these clashes day after day is exhausting. It's confusing. You feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, trying to decipher unspoken rules, inevitably making mistakes that cause embarrassment, yours or someone else's. You get frustrated by the indirectness, the slow pace of decision-making, the pressure to conform. You miss the ease and familiarity of American interactions. This is culture shock in its rawest form. Does this mean living in Japan as an American is impossible or always miserable? No. Many Americans adapt and find fulfilling lives there. But it requires a profound shift in perspective. It demands patience, lots of it. It requires keen observation, a willingness to learn, including the language which is crucial, humility, and accepting that
Your way is not the only way, nor is it necessarily the right way in this context. It means learning to read the air, even if imperfectly. It means understanding the why behind the behaviors, even if you don't always agree with them. It means adjusting your expectations and your behavior rather than expecting an entire society to bend to American norms. Japan offers incredible beauty, safety, culture, and experiences. But it's not America with better ramen. It's a fundamentally different cultural operating system. For Americans, the values we hold dear, individualism, directness, informality, often don't mix well without causing friction. Success and happiness there often depend less on changing Japan and more on understanding and adapting yourself. It's a challenge, a journey, and definitely not for everyone. So, what do you think? Have you lived in Japan or another country with vastly different cultural norms? What were the biggest clashes you experienced between American values and the local culture? How did you cope? Share your stories, tips, and thoughts in the comments below. The good, the bad, and the just plain confusing. If this deep dive gave you some food for thought, please hit that like button, share it with anyone curious about Japan or the realities of culture shock, and make sure to subscribe for more real talk about navigating our differences across the globe.